Hi to all lovers of football around the world. Hi to all Gunners fans around the world. Yes, and yes, and yes, the EPL is back. After about 2.5 months of torture, of not watching real soccer, I'm not talking about a Club World Cup, I'm not talking about those friendlies, I'm talking about the real deal. The EPL, the action is back. The action is back, and I am very, very excited. And of course, we just came out with a win against the almighty Manchester United. It wasn't the best performance from us from an attacking point of view, but it was an away win from a very difficult ground. And I'm just going to tell you this: Manchester United were very, very decent in the whole duration of the game. They were decent. It's just that they faced a very resilient team in Arsenal Football Club. So, like I said earlier, I'm happy the games are back. Of course, in the EPL, Liverpool started off on Friday against Bournemouth, and they won that game by 4 goals to 2. They were very lucky. As at the 89th, 90th minute, it was still 2-2. So they came out with two very late goals. It was impressive, but they have new people, they have new players in the team, so everybody's just trying to gel with the new squad, especially the new players. They're trying to blend, and that could be said about our team today too. With the new boys, Victor Gyökeres and Zubimendi, kind of struggling a bit, especially Victor Gyökeres. But like I said, we are happy we came out with a win. So, without further ado, I would like to go straight to how the game, exactly how it happened. So we started the game. We started the game a bit on the back foot because Manchester United was all over us. They were very decent. They were well organized, especially at the back, and they were trying to catch us on counters. They played a low block, but they kept Cunha and Mbeumo in front to cause us problems, and which they did, but they couldn't quite execute the chances they created. Yes, like I said, they relied on counter attack, and and at the same time, keeping it very, very structured at the back. They were very solid. They man-marked Gyökeres and Saka. The Leeds marked Gyökeres. He followed him everywhere. Dalo marked Saka. He followed him everywhere. And so these two players didn't really have very. They were not very impressive overall in the whole of the game, and this was because Manchester United made it so. So a lot of credit to them. But despite all this, despite how bad we were, we still managed to score in the 13th minute for the only goal of the game. It was a corner kick from Declan Rice. It was a Declan Rice special. It was a corner kick from him, which the goalkeeper of Manchester United didn't, he parried the ball, but it was very weak, and it fell kindly to Ricardo Calafiori, and it was, he just headed in from very, very, very close and from a very close standpoint, and it was an easy tap in with a header, and we got the goal. You can say the goal was a keeper's fault, but I don't really think so. There was a lot of pressure on that keeper, and the way Declan Rice whipped that ball, it was hard for any keeper to handle. Don't forget, it was spinning. So of course he could have gotten a better fist on it, but he didn't. And we capitalized and we scored the goal. So And that was really enough for us to win. So that meant this was in the 13th minute. That meant we had to be very resilient in defense. We had to hold them. I'm not even going to lie. Manchester United on this day was the better team today. They played very good. We could see what their coach, Ruben Amorim, is trying to do. The three at the back really, really worked today. The three defensive unit at the back it really, really worked today. Dogu was fantastic. Bruno Fernandes was okay. Even Casemiro put in a shift today. I've always criticized Casemiro, but he was quite decent today. Manchester United were the better teams. It's just that they faced an Arsenal team that is very, very strong defensively and very, very technical. And, we played brute for brute, physicality, There were one or two shots for a penalty, but for Manchester United, but the referee wasn't having any of it, and rightly so. I thought those shouts were very soft. They were very soft contacts, and I'm glad the VAR didn't intervene to spoil this game. So, what are the things we learned about Arsenal in this game? So I have about 5 things that I felt we learned about Arsenal in this opening game. Because it's an opening game, we can't be too harsh on the players. We can't be too hard on the players. It's an opening game. It's a very, very difficult ground. May I remind you that even when we were at our best, going to Old Trafford had always posed problems for us. Going to Old Trafford has always been a big hurdle to cross. For us to go there and come out with a 1-0 win, normally I don't really apportion a lot of blame to the players after an away win, a very difficult one, a very difficult ground with the crowd really supporting them. This is a ground that is almost 80,000 capacity. It's a large stadium. You could hear the fans. The fans were really up to it. They were supporting their team with everything they had. Every contact we made with them, every contact they felt, the crowd shouted, putting a lot of pressure on the referee. So we're going to go into 5 things we learned about Arsenal so far from this game. 5 things we observed and learned. So the first thing is the Gyökeres issue. Before we signed Victor Gyökeres, a lot of people were like, he was going to have problem adapting to our style of play. Some people said, oh, he's not the kind of player to play for Arsenal. He doesn't fit the profile to play for Arsenal. Now, while that could be a bit true, we saw in this game that the team hasn't really blended so well with Gyökeres. We saw in the Athletic Bilbao game, though he scored, but we didn't see that connection between the midfield and the attack, between the midfield and the number 9. We didn't see it. We've been trying to cut in from the wings. That hasn't happened. A lot of teams are well prepared to handle our wing plays. So because the wings are shut off, which is our main area of attack, which is our source of goals and assists, those areas are shut off. So it makes it very difficult to connect with Victor Gyökeres. We know Victor Gyökeres, his game is sliding the ball. He will run from the opposing defender's shoulders and move. He usually operates from the left, cuts into the right, and takes a shot. We saw 1 or 2 of that today. I was expecting him to do that, at least just take a shot. You never know, but he was dispossessed, and that was really frustrating For me, I think it's better than that. I think it's dealing with the pressure that came with, this transfer to Arsenal. You can tell he's trying his best. You can tell he is facing a different level of physicality in this Arsenal team. And while I know he will improve, he just needs time to adapt to the new system. Thus having a very, very forgettable game. But like I said earlier, Manchester United were really good, especially in defense. They were really, really organized. The Leeds, and who was it? Who was the third? Was it Dallo? They were exceptional in defense. They didn't give Gyökeres a sniff. So the coaching crew has to work on this. They have to play to Gyökeres' strength. They have to figure out how to break low blocks, how to integrate him if there's a low block. We can't depend on set piece in every game we play. So yes, that is the first one. Gyökeres isn't connecting or blending with the team yet, especially with the midfield. The midfield is not creative enough. I'm going to talk about that in the next issue. So the second issue is the prevailing problem from last season. That prevailing problem is that we don't move the ball quick enough. I understand this was a physical game. Manchester United they were all up for it. They were physical. You beat a player, he kicks you. When they do that, and I could count about 4 or 5 times it happened to Saka. The referee just waved play on. But if we did that to them, they just lay on the floor, the referee blows. So I think in the officiating, it was a bit unfair on us, but that's what happens. It was more of a home advantage, so, but I still saw the side-to-side passing of Arsenal. Just, it was like watching last season all over again. I know it was a tough game, but we should have at least seen a glimpse of change from this Arsenal team, and I didn't see nothing really. I didn't see Odegaard trying to penetrate, trying to give penetrating passes. All he did was just try to pass to Saka, and Saka was really, really well marked. Dallo did a good number on him. It was really, really well marked. Another person that in fact impressed me in the Arsenal team was Ben White. Ben White really played well, both defensively and offensively. He really, really impressed me. So like I said, the predictability of our game is still evident. We know what we're good. It's not like the opposing team has so much answer to it. Even though we're predictable, we're still effective. But we need to move the ball quicker. We must try to play from the middle. We must, dominate. We dominated the midfield, but we couldn't penetrate them. We didn't try anything. Different. It was just get the ball, give to the wingers, which wasn't really good. It didn't work today, but I'm hoping from the next game against Leeds United, I'm hoping we address these issues and score more goals, to boost the confidence of the team. So the third thing we observed in this Arsenal team this season is the defense is still solid. Yes, it does seem like we're over-reliant on defense, and maybe set pieces too. You could put that in there, but for any good side, if you want to win a Premier League, if you want to win a major competition, your defense has to be solid. And the central defense partnership of Saliba and Gabriel, which has been dubbed to be just about the best central defense pairing in the world at the moment. They showed why they're very good. Brawl to brawl, they didn't, they, everything was, they challenged for everything. They were physical, they were brutish when they needed to be. And of course, we saw Manchester United had some chances, but to me, they were half chances. They were shooting. And I can't remember, apart from the Cunha ball, a low ball that that was going just across and I was going to creep into our post. Raya made a very decent fingertip save to put the ball wide. Apart from that, all the shots Manchester United played were just, they were, to me, there was no real danger per se, because maybe you can say the one Dogu played that hit the bar went out. Maybe that was the only one, but the rest were just very tame and weak shots. So I'm going to give our defense so much credit. They did well. We handled this. They handled this situation very well. People will say Bruno Fernandes had a good game. I don't think he had a good game. I don't think he's a great player like that. I think he's a very overrated player. All I see him do is score free kicks and penalties. So that's a topic for another day. So like I said, like our defense was really, really good. I'm very, very impressed with that. And we hope it stays like this. We hope our defense stays very strong and resolute for the remainder of the season. The fourth thing we notice is the left side conundrum of the Arsenal team. So the left wing side, is still a problem. You can see Martinelli struggled again. I'm a very, very big Martinelli fan. I love Martinelli. But lately, it's so hard to defend him. He had a very woeful preseason. In fact, I'd never seen him that bad. But he had a very woeful preseason. Though in this game against Manchester United, he made up for his flaws up front in the defense area. He covered up for Calafiori so well. Meanwhile, Calafiori is my man of the match. He is my man of the match in this game, But like I said, the left side of our attack, the left wing side of our attack is really non-existent. You could see even when Martinelli came off and Madueke came in for him, Madueke was even worse. And he couldn't even help defensively. Because that's not really his game. I can count about 3-4 times he lost possession, in very dangerous areas. So this is something we need to really, really address, because Madueke, we can see he's probably not match fit. He hasn't trained with the team for long, but we could see when he exchanged with Saka, he still struggled at the right side, When we bought this player, we all knew it wasn't a good signing. We're hoping to be proved wrong, but we noticed it wasn't a good signing, and we're seeing it every day. We're seeing that this signing is not the marquee signing we wanted. That money could have gone to Eze. That money could have gone for Ademola Lookman. That money could have gone to Liao. That money could have gone to Gordon of Newcastle. These are very, very good wingers, left wing. There was no crisis on the right side. Ethan Nwaneri could play there. Bukayo Saka is there. Why did we buy this guy? He came on, he tried his best, but it wasn't good enough. And yes, like I said earlier, the left side conundrum is still not improved. Nothing from Martinelli today, though he did great in defense. I'll give him that. That is probably why he was left in the team, because of his defensive cover. So let's hope they get better, because I don't think any player is going to come into this Arsenal team this season again. This is what we have. What we have now is what we're going to play with the whole season. So let's hope let's hope the team improves as the season goes on. Now, the fifth thing we want to address is the double pivots of Zubimendi and Rice, which is a very, very big advantage to us. When those two guys are in the midfield, there's almost like no chance for the opposing player. They did very good. The double pivot really helped us. It made us cover for our defense so well, and Rice and Zubimendi worked so hard. I was impressed with them. Of course, Rice was kind of assisted the goal. I don't know if it will be called an assist because the keeper had a hand to it before he met Calafiori. So, but we were very decent in midfield, in the defensive midfield. Rice and Zubimendi did so well. They connected with Odegaard very well. The whole team from the defensive midfield downward did very well. My man of the match, of course, is a defender. That's Calafiori. On the right side, Ben White did very, very well till he came off from a knock or something. Ben White did very well. And of course, the partnership of Gabriel and Saliba were solid. They were super solid. At no point did I think Manchester United was going to score in this game. At no point, especially the double pivot in midfield, they worked so hard. They retrieved ball. They played for themselves. And I cannot be happier that we have these two guys in our team. And that is it for today. Of course, we are happy. We started with a win. We are super excited. And you can see how colorful I look with my yellow and green Arsenal sports jacket. I thought this would be the best day to wear it. And I wore it, and it's even better that we won. We won the game, so I am super, super happy. We won this game. The next game is going to be with Leeds United. You guys should, we will follow that game. We will have a post analysis of that game when it happens next weekend. And that will be all for now. Thank you, and God bless.